Hey folks, welcome to the studio. My name's Martin. I'm a filmmaker based in Western Austria, in Tyrol to be more precise, and I make my living producing mostly movies for my beautiful clients. And the reason why I'm going on YouTube today is that there's a very special project ahead with very precise parameters, which is a documentary production far away in the Pacific. We're going to be leaving in about a week. Me and my production partner Marco, who will be handling most of the audio and putting together the equipment for a, let's say, Netflix compatible production was pretty hard, because usually when I'm here, I just jump into my car and I drive to wherever. But this time we'll have to fly, and the limitations are 20 kilos per person, which is pretty much of a challenge to define the equipment and still maintain professional specifications. What you can see here, those are my 3 Porta Brace backpacks that will accompany us. The 2 smaller Porta Brace backpacks, well, those will travel on our shoulders with us on the plane, but the big one that has to be checked in, and that will hold most of the bulkier equipment like my tripod and the light stands and so on. So you may ask yourself, why Porta Brace backpacks, even though they don't do endorsements, at least not with me, so I'm not getting paid for my opinion here. And even though it can be quite a long wait for them. Like, I ordered the camera backpack in early February this year, and it took like 3 months to get here, which was pretty long. Well, so why Porta Brace? It's simply because they're the best backpacks in comparison to any other backpack I took a look at, and that I also own. The Porta Brace is at least half a kilo more lightweight, which means you can pack more stuff and still fit the requirements by the Air company, and they're super tough. Like the blue one's almost like new, and even though I already put it through hell. Now onto the other equipment. You can already see it here. This is the relatively new Canon C80. I've been sticking with Canon for a long time, and I'm very happy with that camera. This one now yields the 24 to 240 super zoom, which is an absolutely amazing lens, especially for use on a cinema camera for filming. This one's almost fully rigged out, just the screen that you can see in the other pictures. The screen is now on the other camera that I'm shooting this little vlog with, and well, I have a Red Rock micro handle here to hold the camera properly. Then as we're doing external audio, there's a receiver here, which is a Rode Wireless Pro, which sends me a mono mix from the sound devices recorder that my audio guy is using. So we at least have some sort of audio backup. And then here there's the UltraSync One, which is a timecode unit, and it's not just like those cheaper timecode units. These ones stay connected through a special radio system, which means every couple of frames they check if they're in sync, and that means you can just pull out the camera, you can start recording audio, and you're always in sync as long as the UltraSync One is running. And there's one thing I shouldn't forget, there's also another lens that I'll bring with me, even though we have some weight restrictions. It's the 15 to 35 L series f2.8, which can be a 50mm fast equivalent in crop mode. So why I'm actually using this camera, even though I plan to use the R5C, well, the answers are the whole production process is way easier with the C80, considering the fact that I'm doing all the video work, so I'm working as DOP as well as director. So in order to save me some setup pain. Built-in ND filters just make my day. Secondly, having the possibility of 2 mini XLR ends for my Sony ECM MS2 microphone enables me to always gather the surrounding Atomos sounds in full stereo, actually also in mid-side stereo, so I can decode it and encode it later. And by using this incredible, I don't know if you can see it, this incredible mid 49 XLR to mini XLR adapter, I have no problem feeding the camera with that microphone signal. And secondly, on inputs 3 and 4, I always have a mono version of the actual sound picked up by my sound guy. As I mentioned before, the audio or sound recording side of this production is completely independent. So as long as my audio engineer and field audio guy is in reach, he can just do whatever he wants, and he'll be carrying this thing, which is another Porta Brace bag. It features the Sound Devices MixPre 6.2 and a Sennheiser receiver. Furthermore, on the production there will be another unit of Rode Wireless Pros in case we have to use lavaliers. Just from a producer's point of view, I personally prefer boomed audio to any type of lavaliers. In any case, in case we need lavaliers, we have 2 Sanken CS1e lavaliers with us operating on the road. And well, the second thing is, on top of the Sound Devices MixPre 6.2, there's a Sennheiser EWD receiver, and that one's exclusively for the boom, because that's one of the most important things. And I didn't want to have any cable ruin the moment, which means the moment we're recording, my audio guy is completely free to move the boom pole wherever he wants. We will be recording in 32-bit, so there is hardly anything that can go wrong from the gain staging point of view. This will be his weapon of choice. That is a very small, I don't know if you can see it, but that is a very tiny but pretty extendable boom pole. I bought that one myself when I was in Los Angeles back in, I think, 2010, and that's a so-called loon boom. The cable's been taken out in the meantime, and on top of the loon boom there's a Rycott basket and the EWD SKP sender. This unit is pretty amazing. You can also just easily set the gain from the receiver that's mounted on the mixer, which is like another thing that I totally love. Of course, the MixPre 6 will also receive timecode from another Atomos UltraSync One unit, which is actually the server unit. So Marco will probably set time of day on that one. And the output of the MixPre will go into a Rode Wireless Pro sender and then be sent to the camera. So I'll just quickly disconnect the power so we can take a look at this unit. By the way, this unit is powered by a USB-C battery. Very simple. And it's tucked into the bag using Velcro. So this is how the whole system looks. As you can see, I firmly screwed the EWD receiver onto the Sound Devices unit, and it's really, really tiny, right? And of course, we'll use an XLR plug to send the signal from the receiver to the unit. And here's a spot for the Rode Wireless Pro sender to go, and we'll just feed it from here, and that's about it. The only thing we haven't talked about yet is the main boom microphone that we're planning to use. This is a Sanken CS1e in comparison to the world standard, the Sennheiser MKH416. Well, you can see it's a lot smaller and it also weighs a lot less. And this is how it sounds at work. So right now we're outside of the studio and Marco is taking care of the sound. I mic'd with a Sanken CS11 with a lavalier. In this case, obviously not hidden, with a Bumblebee wind screen. And the main sound that you hear, that is a Sanken CS1e. We also want to take a look how compatible the lavalier lapel mics by Sanken are with their shotgun selection. And the cool stuff with that shotgun is that it is a supercardioid primarily, and it's quite directional. So Marco can turn off the river in my back. Great job. Now the river is way less audible than before, right? You can even turn it off a bit more. I'll help you. At the moment, we're trying to blend out that little river, that little stream opposite of me, which is in that direction. That's ideal now. Also, my voice sounds a bit more direct now. Don't you think so?
Yeah, that's right.
If you listen closely, because the Sanken is a very special type of shotgun, this CS1e, because the bass and mid part of the frequency spectrum, bass and mids are supercardioid and the low bar is only in the very high frequency. So the cool thing about that shotgun is that it is also pretty usable for indoor shooting, because we did an indoor shooting, you remember?
Yeah, of course.
So this is the sound of the Sanken CS1e in a quite reverberant room, and the microphone is just on top of me. And yeah, so much about the main camera and the main audio system for this production. Of course, we have an emergency plan in case things head south and the worst case happens, so we can still continue recording even without the main components of this production. And I'll probably talk about that on another vlog, or maybe while we're there, because I'm going to bring a small auxiliary camera and a small auxiliary audio system with me. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. Have a wonderful day and hope to see you soon.